Preface 1. LeaderShift, the perspective that changes everything. Every leader must face their own challenges and issues that most often show up externally or outwardly. However, many of us are unaware that the majority of these issues simply require periodic alignment or realignment with our internal values and character. What we experience outwardly is connected to everything we see, say, and decide, which subsequently influences how we lead. Before we ever confront challenges or issues in staff meetings, boardrooms, churches, homes, or communities, we must first confront the battle in our minds. LeaderShift begins with a premise that must be embraced: leadership rises and falls on perspective. When perspective is clear, decisions are also clear. When perspective is distorted, even the strongest leaders potentially drift into confusion, pressure, and performance-based living and leading. This video further introduces the concept of metanoia, a change of perspective from the inside out. This truth is described in the scripture Romans 12:2, which aligns closely with neuroscience and psychology concerning the transforming of the mind. This concept of a change of mind and perspective from the inside out demonstrates that sustained behavioral change occurs through intentional cognitive restructuring and neuroplastic adaptation. Research also shows that repeated patterns of thought reshape neural pathways, influencing emotional regulation, decision-making, and behavioral responses. In both theological and neuroscientific frameworks, transformation is understood not as surface-level compliance, but as an inside-out renewal in which perception precedes behavior, and identity stabilizes action. It is the LeaderShift that every great leader must experience. Not a shift in title, technique, or talent, but a shift in how we think, see, and lead. Leaders who embrace this shift will break cycles, elevate teams, strengthen and restore families, and ignite organizational cultures with renewed purpose. Leaders who avoid the necessity of this LeaderShift will repeat patterns, misread people, and lead from pressure instead of purpose. This video is further intended to prepare leaders for the preceding journey of transformation, from the inside out. It reveals the unseen, an extraordinary design of the brain, and depth of the mind, and a powerful intersection where leadership perspective is reshaped. As you move further in this video, consider the following. Before a leader can transform an organization, the leader must be transformed. The transformation begins with the 7 pillars of LeaderShift. Each of the 7 pillars are designed to reshape our perspectives, deepen our self-awareness, and expand our capacity to lead with clarity, credibility, and authenticity. These pillars form the foundation of transformational leadership, and together, they are a vital component of the shift that changes everything. Pillar 1, the hidden battles leaders fight but rarely acknowledge. The people you lead, the pressures you manage, the responsibilities you carry, all of them filter first through your inner world. Pillar 2, the mechanics of the brain, the physical engine. This is why leaders must understand that the brain is our hardware, but the mind is our software. You can repair the hardware, but unless you renew or update the software, the same internal struggles will continue to appear, no matter how advanced one's leadership strategies may be. Pillar 3, the mind, the invisible operating system, shaping emotions, decisions, and influence. The brain gives us structure, but the mind gives that structure purpose. The mind is not physical. It does not show up on an MRI or X-ray. Yet every decision, every impulse, every fear, every vision, every belief that shapes our leadership emerges from this invisible realm. Pillar 4, the interaction between the brain and mind, why leaders must understand both. The brain and the mind work together constantly. They are 2 systems that influence each other every second. The brain tells you what happened, the mind tells you what it means. Leaders must understand this distinction, because leadership challenges rarely come from the event itself, but from the interpretation of the event. When leaders understand the interaction between the brain and the mind, they lead with practical wisdom, instead of reactivity. Pillar 5, realities that anchor leadership in truth, identity, and purpose. Leadership strength, therefore, is not merely positional or theoretical, it is the result of internal alignment, stabilized by wisdom and truth. Across history, philosophy, psychology, and neuroscience, the most resilient leaders are those who know who they are, what they stand for, and why they lead. Identity clarity creates stability under pressure. Leaders who operate from an internal compass, rather than external approval, demonstrate greater emotional regulation, ethical consistency, and long-term influence. Whether grounded in faith, philosophy, historical evidence, neuroscience, or deeply held human convictions, leaders who anchor themselves in meaning beyond ego, and outcomes, lead with greater clarity, resilience, and credibility. For others, it may be a heightened mindset of morality, or a sense of duty. In every case, leaders rooted in something beyond self and personal strength lead with steadiness, humility, and extraordinary organizational impact. Pillar 6. The practical implications for navigating pressure, complexity, and cultural change. Leaders who understand the difference between the brain and the mind unlock a completely different level of self-awareness and influence. This understanding becomes a leader shift that potentially assists in overcoming the challenges and issues that inevitably arise in our organizations. When leaders recognize that the brain is the hardware, processing stress, tiredness, and sensory overload, while the mind is the software interpreting meaning, leaders increase their capacity to make decisions from clarity, instead of confusion or uncertainty. Pressure or stress no longer feels like personal inadequacy, but it becomes a signal to check the system of our leadership. Pillar 7. Inner transformation that fuels leader shift. Leadership is shaped by two parallel realities that determine whether influence merely exists, or actually moves us forward personally and organizationally. The outer world delivers pressure, complexity, change, and uncertainty. Our inner world supplies the fuel, our values and character that filter how those forces are processed and impact us. While the outer world sets the terrain, our inner world solidifies the energy, direction, and determination of our leadership ability to shift, as needed. Many leaders work tirelessly to master the external environment, strategy, systems, and outcomes while neglecting the internal fuel source that powers their decisions and responses. Yet leadership does not advance on external force alone. Sustainable influence requires internal stability, clarity, and identity. The leader who understands the difference between what happens to them and what happens within them engages a higher level of effectiveness, resilience, and transformational capacity. What follows in leader shift is more than a roadmap, it is fuel. Fuel for leaders who are exhausted by surface-level management and ready for below-the-surface transformation within themselves and within the people and organizations they lead. Information alone does not move anything, but fuel does. Leader shift, as a roadmap, becomes a compass and fuel for leaders who want to think higher, see farther, and move forward with a centered purpose. Fully capable of carrying teams and organizations to higher levels of productivity and efficiency. Like an engine without fuel, leadership without internal alignment potentially breaks down and does not make much progress. But when the right fuel is introduced, movement becomes powerful and inevitable. Leader shift is not about changing circumstances. It's about changing how we see them. The moment we become aware of the internal battle is the moment we begin to think differently, see differently, and lead differently. You don't lead from what happens to you, you lead from what happens within you. Leader shift is not merely a concept, it is ignition. A calling to change how you think and how you see, so your leadership can be unhindered. Moving with clarity, direction, and sustainable impact and influence. As you turn from page to page, in the book, as you ponder and pay attention to every lesson taught, you are engaging principles and fuel that propels perspective into action, and purpose into motion. As you shift the lens of how you think and see, this is where your leader shift begins.